Very good afternoon to you. Here we are then in the sauna-like conditions of south of France for race 2 in Trofeo Pirelli of Ferrari Challenge. As you can see, goodly number of spectators here to enjoy the 70th anniversary of Ferrari, and indeed the Ferrari Challenge races here on track. And we reached the last one of the 4 races across the course of the weekend. It is race 2 for the Trofeo Pirelli drivers, which are split between pro drivers and AM drivers, some 19 cars on the grid. We've passed the halfway stage in our calendar for 2017 here at Castellet, having been to Budapest, Monza and Valencia, with Silverstone, Imola and Mugello, the World Finals, at the end of October to come. All the information, of course, races.ferrari.com. That is the website for you to check out everything that you could possibly want to know with regards to the Ferrari Challenge. And here we are then on the south of France, as I said, in Paul Ricard, La Castellet. What a beautiful location for a racing circuit, which of course plays host to Formula One once again in 2018. It's a 5.8 kilometre circuit, which is 2 straights with very technical bits at the end of each straight, if you like, which comprise some 16 turns. 7 of them are left, 9 of them are right-handers. And what a beautiful backdrop we have here in the sunshine. So, spectators to enjoy not only the glorious weather of 32 degrees and a track temperature of 47 degrees and unbroken sunshine, but to enjoy some phenomenal race action from our Trofeo Pirelli drivers as well. And this man was, well, hotter than the temperatures in qualifying, because once again he has put the car on pole position, always first when racing in 2017 in the Ferrari Challenge. An unbroken run of 5 straight wins for Daniel D'Amato. And he missed out on the first round at Valencia. There is Bjorn Grossman going from P2 on the grid for Octane 126. Bjorn Grossman wears number 1 on his car by dint of the fact that he is the current Trofeo Pirelli champion. So the champion goes from P2. Former champion Philip Barron in the number 91 car for Rosso Corsa goes from P3 on the grid. The thumbs up from Philip Barron then, driving for the Rosso Corsa team. And P4 will be Andrea Gagliardini, who with Daniel D'Amato had quite a fight at the front yesterday. So there indeed is the Andrea Gagliardini car. A 209.312 gives him poor P4 on the grid for this afternoon's race. So you're very welcome to La Castellet. Here's a little bit of info about this fantastic place. And some of the images there indicative of how busy the paddock area is, because with the 70th anniversary of Ferrari, lots of celebrations going on in the paddock and lots of activities for race fans to be involved in, apart from watching some great race action. The Rosso Corsa Pellin racer, Alessandro Vezzoni, goes from P5 on the grid. In fact, the top 6 places all occupied by the pro drivers, because it is the British star Sam Smith that goes from P6 on the grid. And the best of the AM drivers, Jens Liebhauser. And there is the number 45 card of Christian Overgaard, which is down there, P15 on the grid. So 5 minutes away from the race start for race number 2 for the Trofeo Pirelli drivers here at the Paul Ricard circuit. The glass just to the left of your picture, right at the top, is our location for our commentary studios, giving us and affording us a fantastic view of this La Castellet circuit. So the heat rising off the tarmac, and there is our AM pole sitter, Jens Liebhauser. What a fantastic montage of images to celebrate the 70th anniversary. We come here to Paul Ricard Circuit. Our tour continues with Silverstone, Imola, and of course Mugello still to come before the end of the 2017 season. A little bit of breeze about, as you can say, and here is the grid in full for you. Daniel Diamato once again pole position, Bjorn Grossman alongside him, then it's Philip Barron, Andrea Gagliardini before we find on row 3 Alessandro Vezzoni and Sam Smith going from P5 and P6. Jens Liebhauser is the best of the AM drivers before the British star Chris Froggatt, then it's Mark Musso, Ettore Contini, Tommaso Roca, who took the win in the AM category yesterday, and Martin Nelson goes alongside him on row 6 of the grid. Then we find Joshua Cartu and Mats Ek Tidstrand, Christian Overgaard, Robin Jensen, Per Nielsen, and then Galapatar is the best of the Ferrari 458 drivers. And Walter Dorenberg is also in the 458 Evo car, which was the car, of course, that was the Ferrari Challenge machine last year before we introduced the all-new Ferrari 488 GTE at the opening round this year back in May in Valencia. You can almost sense the expectation and anticipation in the race fans who are above the main building here at the Paul Ricard Circuit, awaiting the cars being released on their formation lap to start this 30-minute duration race. We are but a few moments away from the race starting. There you can see 1 minute. So putting it on pole position for the AM category of the Ferrari Challenge Trofeo Pirelli, Jens Liebhauser.
I'm super happy being on pole position today in the Trofeo Pirelli Ferrari Challenge 2017. Luckily, I'm leading the championship right now as a German driver, and I'm super happy joining the Ferrari team. Formula Racing, which supporting me, is just super good. They helped me when I broke the rear of my car, and thanks to my sponsor Max.
So Jens Liebhauser then, the German racer, as he said, racing for the Formula Racing team, and he's leading the AM Championship at the moment. He is the best of the AM drivers, going from P7 on the grid. The finger is poised above the green for-go button, and the car's then released on their formation lap. As is always the case with the Ferrari Challenge, it is a rolling start. Philip Barron there vigorously weaving from side to side already to try and generate some temperature into the tyres of his Rosso Corsa run Ferrari 488. There's Sam Smith. There is Chris Froggatt as all the cars make their way through now. This 16-turn circuit then. We're going through turns 3, 4 and 5. First turn, of course, is very much a chicane. All the social media at the top of the screen for you to be part of the extraordinary Ferrari family and this brilliant race series that is the Ferrari Challenge. The final race of the weekend, then, is about to tear up the tarmac. It is the Trofeo Pirelli Race 2, and this is the man, Daniel D'Amato, on pole position. As I mentioned, and I make no excuse for it, it's 5 wins out of 5 starts, and that's to be said. I wonder if it would have been 7 out of 7 if he'd been at the first round in Valencia, but other commitments kept him away. But even so, having dropped an entire round, he still has a very healthy command of the Drivers' Championship by dint of the supreme success that he's had. And credit should also be made to the CDP team, who have unlocked the potential of that Ferrari 488 car. We just saw the Octane 126 team boss, Christian Berchinger, who is responsible, of course, for Bjorn Grossman out there on track, and also for Galipatar as well. And Bjorn Grossman had a very, very successful year last year, taking the 458 Trofeo Pirelli Championship for pro drivers, and he would very much like to be able to find whatever it takes to get on terms with Daniel D'Amato. But at the moment, no one has been able to do that. Will the tide turn in this race too? Only time will tell, and the next 30 minutes is the duration of the race, with which we will see who will end up on steps 1, 2 and 3 on the podium. So the safety car has picked the cars up now. They're making their way through the final technical part of this circuit, heading towards turn number 15 now. They'll make the left-hander into turn 15, then it is one right-hander, which will be turn 16, and the formation lap will be complete. The safety car will peel off, and it will be the responsibility of Daniel D'Amato and Bjorn Grossman to control the pace of the rolling lap to the green lights, which we will throw to the top of the screen for you. Stand by. Here comes race number 2 for Trofeo Pirelli. It feels like an eternity before the cars reach the green lights, but we are ready to go racing already. Daniel D'Amato with his nose in front from his pole position start. Bjorn Grossman here's alongside him. Andrea Gagliardini and Philip Barron, but Bjorn Grossman right alongside Daniel D'Amato here. He's going to have the inside line for the second part of the chicane, but Daniel D'Amato does just get his nose in front here, being chased all the way by Bjorn Grossman. Philip Barron side by side with Andrea Gagliardini. He could take P3 here. Bjorn Grossman, though, doing his level best to keep on terms with Daniel D'Amato. Up on the inside of Jens Liebhauser is Sam Smith, as Jens Liebhauser goes for an overtake and does overtake one of the pro drivers, Sam Smith. So D'Amato from Grossman, from Barron, side by side, Sam Smith and Jens Liebhauser. That could play into the hands of Chris Froggatt on the inside of those two. Jens Liebhauser out running wide. We're on board with Philip Barron, looking back at the Andrea Gagliardini car now. And now we have the two UK racers side by side, Chris Froggatt and Sam Smith in a drag race. Here comes Philip Barron on Bjorn Grossman into the chicane. Side by side they go. Bjorn Grossman, though, is able to get just a little bit more traction. Of course, what Bjorn Grossman is desperately trying to do is keep on terms with Daniel D'Amato, but what he's having to do is defend from Philip Barron as well. This is playing into the hands of Daniel D'Amato, who's rubbing his hands with invisible soap as he's able to get up the road from Bjorn Grossman now. And there you can see already he's opened up a lead But Bjorn Grossman is looking vulnerable here to Philip Barron, who's dived to the inside now. Once again, they are side by side now. Grossman will have the inside for the next turn. Philip Barron tries to switch tack, and Andrea Gagliardini all of a sudden is going to be putting the pressure on the P3 driver, Philip Barron, as well. So Barron is going to be in this unenviable position of being hunted as well as hunting. Wow, what an opening lap. We stay on board with Philip Barron, looking back at Andrea Gagliardini and Alessandro Vezzoni, who are P4 and P5. They round turn 16 and head for the timing line once again. And already Daniel D'Amato has built up some 8/10 of margin over Bjorn Grossman in P2. Then it's Barron, then it's Gagliardini, then it's Vezzoni, and Chris Froggatt has got the better of Sam Smith and is ahead of him. The British driver is P6, and Sam Smith relegated to P7, and that leading group, if you like, have really broken away from the rest of the pack. But he who is breaking away the most at the moment is Daniel D'Amato, as Alessandro Vezzoni to the inside of Andrea Gagliardini. A full 360 for Gagliardini, and Chris Froggatt is able to get past. Is Sam Smith going to be able to do so as well? Well, Gagliardini got the car turned around. In fairness, it was turned around all on its own, as Martin Nelson, just having a look in. Martin Nelson there is ahead of Tommaso Roca and Christian Overgaard. Here comes our race leader then, Daniel D'Amato. Onto the first part of the Mistral Straight. Chris Froggatt gets past Alessandro Vezzoni. So too does Andrea Gagliardini. Here comes Sam Smith. Alessandro Vezzoni presumably with damage now on that car, because he hasn't got the pace of those around him. The incident involving cars number 20 and 27, which is Alessandro Vezzoni and Andrea Gagliardini, is under investigation as we speak. So Daniel D'Amato leads from Bjorn Grossman and Philip Barron, and Josh Cartu is dropped down right to the back of the pack. Quite what's happened to Josh Cartu, we don't know. He's had a torrid weekend of it, having taken his first podium in the Budapest round, his home race, despite him being Canadian. He's based in Hungary. And here in replay, well, to be fair, Bjorn Grossman stuck to his guns there, was not going to be intimidated off the track by Philip Barron, who was pushing very hard, to be fair, but it was a firm but fair fight between the two of them. And this was the number 42 car of Mark Musso, and Martin Nelson taken to the curbs to be right alongside Mark Musso. So let's get a live gap then between Daniel D'Amato and Bjorn Grossman. 1.7 seconds. So Daniel D'Amato and the CDP team doing exactly as we expected. In fairness, it's exactly what they've done in 5 races previous to this, and that is just get the sweet spot of this 488 absolutely turned on. The battle for P2 has quietened down a little bit now, as Bjorn Grossman has just a shade under 7/10 of a margin over Philip Barron. Don't expect that to last for long, though, because Philip Barron will try and fight back. Best of the AMs is Chris Froggatt, who is in P5, ahead of the pro driver Sam Smith and ahead of the pro driver Alessandro Vezzoni. Good showing from Chris Froggatt. So Philip Barron then continuing to chase down Bjorn Grossman, but nothing like as close as he has been. Chris Froggatt leading Sam Smith, P6, P7 at the moment. The two yellow cars together, you can see just behind the all-red car of Andrea Gagliardini, who coming together with Alessandro Vezzoni just a few moments ago. So the number 93 car driven by Chris Froggatt, the number 92 car driven by Sam Smith, and Alessandro Vezzoni, who is in P7, gets a drive-through penalty for that contact on Andrea Gagliardini. So Alessandro Vezzoni's P7 place is gone. There is Jens Liebhauser just behind the Alessandro Vezzoni car, and that is the car that is going to have to serve a drive-through penalty. Now Sam Smith all over the back of Chris Froggatt. This is a bit of an inter-team battle between the two of them. Looked like Sam Smith had got the inside on Chris Froggatt then, but here is Daniel D'Amato. Forgive me, is he not a bit closer now? Bjorn Grossman is a bit closer to him. I would have said. 1.597 seconds the margin between the two of them. It's down to 1.374. Now either Daniel D'Amato is slowed by 0.2 or Grossman is quicker. Well, lap time would indicate that Grossman is quicker now. He certainly, his last lap he was. Sam Smith is ahead of Chris Froggatt now in that inter-team British battle between the pro and the AM driver. The AM driver is Chris Froggatt, and that's the car that we can see leading the AM drivers race at the moment. Ahead of him, though, is the pro driver, Sam Smith, racing for the same team, the FF Corsa team, but they're in two separate classifications. It's pro and AM, but Chris Froggatt, to be fair, was ahead of Sam Smith, so Sam has got him back. This is Jens Liebhauser, who you will recall was pole position for the AM drivers. So D'Amato, Bjorn Grossman, P1 and P2. Here comes Daniel D'Amato then. And there's get the front end of the car getting very skittish under braking for Bjorn Grossman. So once Vezzoni takes his penalty, the race for P1 in the AMs, of course, will be on, because at the moment he's splitting Chris Froggatt and Jens Liebhauser. Good point. In the meantime, Scuderia Autoropa in the thick of the action. Philip Barron just slipped back from Bjorn Grossman a little bit. Both Barron and Grossman are the only two drivers out there on track at the moment posting lap times in the 2:10s. Everyone else 2:11s or 2:12s, including our race leader, the car that is centre screen right now, Daniel D'Amato, 2:11. Grossman has gone around. So that has pushed Grossman back down the order. He's returned ahead of Andrea Gagliardini, which is an incredible save from Bjorn Grossman. But that does mean that Philip Barron is P2 now. Bjorn Grossman is P3. And it looked like Bjorn Grossman went around all on his own. But as you can see, he has saved it and managed to save P3. There's the leader in the 458. Also driving for the Octane 126 team, the same team as the Bjorn Grossman car, Octane 126. So Galabatar leading the 458 charge at the moment. So Philip Barron is P2, Daniel D'Amato, of course, leading the race, and P3 now, following that turnaround, is Bjorn Grossman. And that Galabatar car is the car, I think, that Bjorn Grossman won the championship in last year. There is the number 72 Scuderia Autoropa car of Tickstand, running in P15. There is our P1 car, and there is his father, Renato D'Amato, talking to his son then on the team radio. What can Philip Barron do? Can Philip Barron close into the Daniel D'Amato car? If anyone is prepared to throw absolutely everything at it, Philip Barron is your man. Truth is, at this particular circuit, and seemingly with this car, it's the very, very smooth, consistent drive that makes this car work best. And you know what, Philip Barron is one for really throwing everything at it, and not convinced that that's necessarily the best way around this Paul Ricard circuit, or with this particular car at the moment. But we will see. The battle for P3 is between Bjorn Grossman and Andrea Gagliardini. There's about 5/10 between the two of them. There is Philip Barron, who is P2. Car number 93 is being told to watch the track limits at turn 7. That's Chris Froggatt, who is currently P6. There's Bjorn Grossman and Andrea Gagliardini, and behind the two of them is Sam Smith. So D'Amato stays where he was, then leading the race. Philip Barron up one place, Bjorn Grossman down one. Gagliardini stays the same. Smith and Froggatt both move up 1 and 2 places respectively. So the back end of the Gagliardini car lights up, doesn't it, and gets loose there. Here comes Bjorn Grossman running in P3. There is Andrea Gagliardini, who fought for the lead with Daniel D'Amato yesterday. Alessandro Vezzoni has gone in to take his drive-through penalty. We can see from our timing screen he's in the pit lane on his way out of it now. And there is the Formula Racing team. So there is Alessandro Vezzoni, as we mentioned then. He is on his way out of the pit lane now. And he returns out on track just behind Joshua Kartu, who is P16 and ahead of Galapata. And that was the Bjorn Grossman spin. So it was a complete 360 in the final part of the lap. In fairness, he recovered very, very quickly, but not quickly enough, of course, to be able to save his P2 place. So Philip Barron has inherited that. My goodness me, Daniel D'Amato, from all of a sudden, from somewhere, has found... He's just now posting margins of 5 seconds ahead of Philip Barron and the rest of the chasing pack. So Philip Barron lost 3 seconds in sector 1. Whether he had an off, he's running really, I wonder whether he's got a slow puncher, because he just ran off the track there. Sector 2 is looking normal, but we just saw him running really, really wide there, and he is slowing. You can see that. Bjorn Grossman is almost right on him now. There is something wrong with the Philip Barron car, and here comes Bjorn Grossman to retake that P2 position. Philip Barron has got an issue with the Rosso Corsa car then. So that means that Andrea Gagliardini is going to get past him as well. Okay, so all the way across the chicane, and that's why his time was normal, of course. Funnily enough, if you make the track a bit shorter, it does help your sector time. However, a problem for him in the car. Now, Jens Liebhauser has got ahead of Chris Froggatt in the AM battle. So Jens Liebhauser is P1 in the AMs now. I wonder where he got past Chris Froggatt, who now falls into P2 in the AMs. Philip Barron is in the pit lane. And there you can see, well, I predicted a slow puncture, but Philip Barron, you can see the race being taken away from him now. Sure, it is a puncture, whether something more severe than that, but I would say that Philip Barron's race is done now, that's for sure. He's never going to recover from whatever they're going to try and do in the pit lane now. There's Jens Liebhauser and Chris Froggatt then. So as I mentioned, Jens Liebhauser has got past Chris Froggatt and now finds himself leading in the AM category. Well, of course, he had pole position in the AMs anyway, but was taken by Chris Froggatt in the early stages of this race. Despite his best intentions, Bjorn Grossman is now nearly 12 seconds behind our race leader, Daniel D'Amato. So Jens Liebhauser, 8 tenths ahead of Chris Froggatt. But here comes Sam Smith on Andrea Gagliardini. This is for the final podium place. Sam Smith then, who was AM champion last year, elevated to the Pro division for this year. And chasing down Andrea Gagliardini now. So the red car is with Andrea Gagliardini. Sam Smith in the all-yellow machine, engineered by FF Corsa, is alongside Andrea Gagliardini momentarily. He will try and get underneath the car now around turn 16, and the back end of the Gagliardini car gets loose, and that means that Sam Smith does go through and takes up P3. So Sam Smith then is P3. Andrea Gagliardini is going to try and come back as they go into the chicane, the first chicane, heavy braking from both of them. They are side by side, but with his nose in front, Sam Smith has got that P3 through the speed trap, 252 kilometers per hour for Andrea Gagliardini. That counts as naught with regard to the battle for P3, because that is with Sam Smith. Positions 7 to 9, Contini, Muzzo, Nelson and Roca, 4 AM drivers battling for third in the class, and of course the final step on the podium for the AM battle. And they're all within 2 seconds of each other. But now Sam Smith has got past Gagliardini. Really has got some pace in the car now. Here it is in replay then. Now, it was here where the back end of the car, it was a much tighter turn, wasn't it, for Andrea Gagliardini? Then the car got sideways, and whenever your car is sideways, you're losing speed. And Sam Smith was much smoother on the exit of that turn and set that up really rather well. So congratulations, Sam. Great driving. Standings on screen for you then. In the AM standings, Liebhauser and Frogger. Then it's this battle that we mentioned between Ettore Contini, Mark Musso, Martin Nelson and Tommaso Rocca for the final podium spot. And that's Joshua Cartu in the number 30 car there. There's Alessandro Vezzoni, who of course has rejoined following his drive-through penalty, and he's trying to make his way up the order, and he has the Josh Cartu car ahead of him, but Josh Cartu's in his own race and therefore has got no divine right to give way to Alessandro Vezzoni, but he certainly does, and Vezzoni, who is quicker in the number 27 car, is on his way and moves up now to P13. In car number 19, it's Per Nielsen, who is running in P16 at the moment. And there you can see Alessandro Vezzoni having got past Josh Cartu, who's, as to be said, is having a torrid weekend of it here in Le Castellet. Goodness me, we've only got 12 minutes of the race left. Where's the time gone? Well, almost exactly as many seconds as Daniel Diamato has got as a margin over Bjorn Grossman. So in replay, Alessandro Vezzoni passed the car of Matt Ek-Tidstrand and also that of Joshua Cartu as well. So race leader Daniel Diamato, look, you can't even see the P2 car in this shot. That's how much of a margin Daniel Diamato has got. There he is, Bjorn Grossman, just into the picture now. It's virtually the entire length of the first part of the Mistral Straight that Daniel Diamato has. And Philip Barron is back out again, so he makes way for Andrea Gagliardini. Philip Barron is very much, well, maybe he doesn't. Philip Barron is very much a back-marking car now. Bear in mind, he's been in the pit lane, as you've seen, with damage to his car. The Rosso Corsa team working hard to repair that damage. And Andrea Gagliardini doing his level best to try and find a way past, but it's not happening. And Philip Barron is not making it easy for him, it has to be said. So on board with Philip Barron, who runs very wide now. He's got Jens Liebhauser now creeping up behind him as well. Bear in mind, that number 91 car now is effectively a back-marking car. So Andrea Gagliardini has managed to get past him, but it wasn't the work of a moment, it has to be said. And Jens Liebhauser and Chris Frogger are going to have to try and do the same. Jens Liebhauser from the Formula Racing team. Of course, we heard from him right at the beginning of the programme because he was the pole sitter in the AM classification and is currently leading the AM classification in this race ahead of Chris Froggatt and then Ettore Contini, who at the moment has got the best of that three-way fight for the third place on the podium in the AMs. So here comes Jens Liebhauser, the German driver then, who leads the AM Championship at the moment. And he has Philip Barron ahead of him. Philip Barron is a back-marking driver, and ahead of Philip Barron, as you can see, is Andrea Gagliardini, who is trying to chase down Sam Smith once again now. Sam Smith at the moment is P3 in the race overall, and the top four places occupied by pro drivers. Second best of the AMs is this man in the all-yellow car. That is Chris Froggatt, who is running in P6 in the race overall, but is P2 in the AM classification. Ahead of him is Jens Liebhauser. So what is the margin between them? It's about a second between Jens Liebhauser and Chris Froggatt at the moment. We look further back to some of the other battles that are going on. There is the number 42 car driven by Mark Musso, who's also involved in this battle for the final AM place on the podium. Ahead of him is the Ettore Contini car. So it's Contini, Musso and also Martin Nelson involved in that. Martin Nelson, who had a fantastic start to the AM Championship. It's gone off a bit for him now, has to be said. is trying to rescue something, if you like, out of the weekend and try and take at least a podium finish. Behind Martin Nelson is Tommaso Roca, who's flashing his lights furiously, trying to distract Martin Nelson and get Martin to make a mistake. At the moment, that ploy has failed. So Ettore Cortini then in the number 43 car is leading this little group. Mark Muso all over the back of Ettore Cortini, but not quite close enough to be able to try and make an overtake. And Martin Nelson really needs to get on the back of these two and allow them to fight. But of course, Martin Nelson is conscious of the fact he's having to defend from Tommaso Roca as well. Tommaso Roca comes here with high on confidence, having taken the AM win yesterday. The Formula Racing pit wall then. Well, here comes Philip Barron with Andrea Gagliardini. Now, Philip Barron having a bit of a race here with Andrea Gagliardini, which is utterly futile, because Philip Barron is a lap, if not more, down on Andrea Gagliardini, but I'm guessing there's a bit of needle between the two of them, shall we say. Jens Liebhauser has just under a second's margin over Chris Froggatt, who is P2 for the HRO in FF Corsa engineered car. Whatever was wrong with the Philip Barron car, to be fair to Rosso Corsa, they put it right pretty darn quickly. Where is Daniel Diamato now? Monaco, I should think. Oh no, 11.1 seconds up the road in the lead of the race. There is our final podium place. Sam Smith at the moment, and Gagliardini, who's being pushed very, very hard by the backmarking Philip Barron. Gagliardini might just be wise here to let Philip go. Although, in fairness, Gagliardini is probably driving quicker than he would do if he wasn't being quite so hounded by Philip Barron. But the last thing he needs to do is to be making a mistake and for the two of them to come together, because it would be worse news for Gagliardini than it would be for Philip Barron, as Barron so close to the Andrea Gagliardini car. Now this is all allowing Jens Liebhauser to get closer, isn't it? Meantime, Ettore Cortini continues to lead Mark Muso, but getting close to Mark Muso now is that car, the number 70 car of Martin Nelson. Martin Nelson driving with the number 70 this year, and it's his gesture towards the 70th anniversary of the Ferrari brand. And we're into just having 5.5 minutes of this race as a duration left. Really has gone very quickly indeed, because there's been lots happening as the back end of the 97 car of Tommaso Roca just lights up there on the exit of turn number 16, the final turn on this 5.8 kilometer circuit. There is the Ettore Cortini car, and there is Mark Muso in car number 42. So Cortini is P7 in the race, but has got that final AM podium place. He's P3 in the AMs currently. As you can see, the graphics indicate that that battle for third position is being contested by Ettore Cortini, Mark Muso, Martin Nelson, and Tommaso Roca. Tommaso Roca, who took the AM win yesterday. In fact, it was his first AM win of the season, so he was truly thrilled with that, and his celebrations on the podium were a sight to behold, truthfully. So Gagliardini then still ahead of Philip Barron, but only by a whisker, truthfully, and Jens Liebhauser not quite able to get on terms with those two yet. And Sam Smith is enjoying the fact that Gagliardini and Philip Barron seem to be fighting together, because that's allowing him just to put a little bit of a margin of comfort between himself and Andrea Gagliardini. Here comes Philip Barron, who looks like he's going to try and overtake Andrea Gagliardini. Referred to earlier point, as well just to let him go, really. So in hyper slow motion then, our leaders, first of all in the pros, it was Daniel Diamato, and in the AMs it is Jens Liebhauser. And in the 458 category, denoted by the blue sunstrip at the top of the windscreen. It's Galip Atar, the Turkish racer. So there we can see Philippe Barron and Andrea Gagliardini off the back of turn 16, absolutely side by side. And Philippe Barron seems to have the measure of him here, with less contact between the two of them. And, well, Gagliardini has got the inside line, but underneath him goes Philippe Barron, and Philippe Barron goes through. Well, Philippe sort of unlaps himself from Andrea Gagliardini, but actually, no, he doesn't. And whilst we're showing you that the onboard camera of Philippe Barron is showing you P6, trust me, he is not P6, because he's been in the pit lane. And Gagliardini now is under real pressure from Jens Liebhauser, and Jens Liebhauser is under pressure from Chris Froggatt. Chris Froggatt can sense the opportunity here of an AM win going his way, if he can just get past Jens Liebhauser. Now, bear in mind, Chris Froggatt has had a win in AMS. Bear in mind, he's a rookie into the championship this year. He took race 2 in Budapest and took the AM victory. So Jens Liebhauser is going to have to defend very hard. Andrea Gagliardini is the pro driver, which is P4 at the moment. Whoa, and Chris Froggatt just taking a look at Jens Liebhauser. Here comes Liebhauser to try and have a go at Gagliardini, which could make him vulnerable to Chris Froggatt here. So there is the Chris Froggatt car. He'd dearly love to be able to take a P1 trophy back to the UK this evening. And Jens Liebhauser is going to have to try and make his 488 as wide as possible to try and deny Chris Froggatt. Chris on the brakes, you can see the brake lights light up here. Andrea Gagliardini is sort of in the middle of this battle. He's in his own race, of course, because he's P4 in the race overall and doesn't want to lose that P4. And Chris Froggatt then taking to the curbs, desperately trying to find a way past Jens Liebhauser. I would say that Chris Froggatt is definitely quicker. Here comes Jens Liebhauser. We're starting the final lap now. So as they cross the timing line and go downhill into turn number 1, is Chris Froggatt going to dive to the inside now? Not quite close enough to be able to do so. That gives Jens Liebhauser an additional push. Has Daniel Diamato gone round? Well, he's got a huge margin, but that margin has been cut to 8.5 seconds. So presumably Daniel Diamato just... here we can see. No, it was just he missed his braking point, didn't he, and ran wide, so there was no spin and lost a bit of time. But that's what the advantage of having a huge margin is. You can afford to make a mistake like that and still have enough time in comfort to be able to round turn without having lost a place, because he had a huge margin. So he's got the final technical section of the circuit to do. He's down to 6 seconds, but for Bjorn Grossman to try and find 6 seconds over the remaining part of the lap is just not possible. So Jens Liebhauser has managed to get past Andrea Gagliardini. I'll tell you what, he's got a problem. He has got a problem. Daniel Diamato has got a problem. I saw the back end of the car stepping out. I think he's got a puncture. So now Bjorn Grossman has got to get past him here, and Bjorn Grossman could take a win. Daniel Diamato, you can see the car sliding, is trying to defend. Bjorn Grossman is going to go through, surely. This is going to be a really fraught fight to the finish here. If Daniel Diamato, who's trying to make that car as wide as possible, Bjorn Grossman, surely you can see the car of Daniel Diamato is really struggling, and Bjorn Grossman is going to break the non-stop winning that Daniel Diamato has been doing. Bjorn Grossman for Octane 126 is going to take a win. Daniel Diamato P2, and it's going to be Sam Smith to take P3. Wow, what a race. Jens Liebhauser and Chris Froggatt are both ahead. Well, Gagliardini's gone around somewhere, hasn't he? He's off the timing screen now. What an end to that race. So, Grossman, D'Amato, Smith, there is Renato D'Amato. And well, I was just going to say to you, a man that will be singing with joy will be Christian Berchinger from the Octane 126 team. Here comes Galopata to take the win in the 458 class. So Daniel D'Amato then didn't make a mistake. There is something wrong with the car, and we can see it sliding around. It might be something as trivial as a puncture. Car number 20 and car number 91 are to report to the stewards after the session. Philip Barron and Gagliardini. Wow. What an end to the Trofeo Pirelli race. Yesterday it was the start of the race that was ridiculously exciting. Today has been the end of the race. And Galopata then for Octane 126. It's going to be double bubble for that team because they're going to take the win in the 458. Now, Galopata said to me that he was going to parade the Turkish flag on his slowing down lap if he took the win. Well, he has done that. Now, whether he's got a flag inside of the car, I don't know. But Galopata takes the 458 win, which means Octane 126 have taken the win in the Trofeo Pirelli class. Now, I'm just looking at this car, trying to find out what's wrong with it. Not sure it is a puncture. Anyway, what we do know is Daniel D'Amato is P2. This is Jens Liebhauser, who's the winner of the AM class for Formula Racing. What a race. So Jens Liebhauser dives into the pit lane then. So there is Daniel D'Amato. His run of 5 straight wins has now been broken. What a boost that will be to this driver, Bjorn Grossman. Thinking back, yes, Grossman spun around early in the race. You'd have never, ever thought. And I guess what this proves is... they're looking at the tyre now. What this proves is... well, apologies for any bad language that you may have heard. But there he is, Galopata. He told me, Dave, I'm going to be waving the Turkish flag as I go around on my slowing down lap. And sure enough, he's doing it. It's not terribly successfully, it has to be said, but... Here's Sam Smith then, P3, and a very deserved podium place for Sam Smith, congratulated by his dad and also by the team at FF Corsa, and his dad gets his arm jammed in the embrace then. Great stuff, well done Sam. Of course, he's so looking forward to racing on home turf at Silverstone, where next we see the Trofeo Pirelli cars. And here is Daniel D'Amato then. So it was, I still think, a deflating tyre. And you can see the back end of the car is just not working at all. So that means that his unbroken run becomes broken because Bjorn Grossman has taken the win. Daniel D'Amato has to settle for the second step of the podium. But the next best pro driver is P10, Alessandro Vezzoni. Who, of course, you will recall had a drive-through penalty. Andrea Gagliardini didn't finish. There's Jens Liebhauser. He retains his perfect run of podiums in 2017. 8 races, 8 podiums. And I bet he still gets his celebrations up there on the podium. Say that. Nice bit of camera art using the mirrored sunglasses. So Jens Liebhauser then. First. Great race from Jens Liebhauser. He didn't have it easy, did he, to be fair? He was chased all the way by Chris Froggatt, and due congratulations to Chris Froggatt. Please bear in mind, he is a rookie in this championship, which is extraordinary. And Ettore Contini, I think I'm right in saying that that's Ettore Contini's first podium in the AMS. Indeed it is. So he'll be pleased with that. Martin Nelson, of course, would have finished P5 in the AMS.
Hey, Gali. Thank you. Thank you.
Galipatar being congratulated and being ushered up towards the podium by Christian Bertschinger, who will be pretty chipper today. And take a look then at some of the highlights of the various other activities here. It's the clip show now. Drivers making their way up to the podium then. There is the very tall Chris Froggatt. And Daniele Giammato then seeing a win really denied from him today. To the podium we go. And there, a very, very happy man, Christian Bertschinger. He is the boss of the Octane 126 team, and Galipatar and Bjorn Grossman embracing there. And Bjorn Grossman taking on some water. And the crowd's beginning to enjoy the paddock, as they have done all weekend long, with a big paddock show here at the Paul Ricard circuit. As the sun begins to dip just a little bit, it means we can't see much of the screen, to be truthful, but we can make out the Octane 126 team, who will be delighted to see for the first time in a long time. In fact, it was race 2 in Valencia, the last time that Bjorn Grossman was on the top step of the podium. Great news for Germany, of course, because it's pro podium and podium, and 458 podium goes the way of Turkey. So the German national anthem plays out for Bjorn Grossman on the top step of the podium. Sam Smith receives his trophy for P3. Well done, Sam. Stefan Claire, the CEO of the circuit here at Paul Ricard, makes the trophy presentation also to Daniel D'Amato, and the winner's trophy to Bjorn Grossman. Team trophy gets presented to Octane 126. Here's the Pirelli trophy from Teo Meyer from Pirelli.
And the winner of 458 is Galipatar.
And Galipatar, of course, takes the 458 trophy. He's had a great weekend, taking 2 wins out of 2.
Trofeo Pirelli for Galipatar.
And Galipatar also with the Pirelli trophy. So everyone please, as Michele says, if you can squeeze together on the top step of the podium, well, that's going to be a struggle, truthfully, but they do it somehow. Just hope the top step of the podium doesn't buckle under the weight of the assembled talent that there is there. For all the photos. Do you know Christian Birchinger may even wait for the champagne, you know? Oh no. So super slow-mos of the top 3 for the pro drivers. Sam Smith takes P3. P2. Yes, I'll say it again. P2 to Daniele D'Amato. We haven't said that for a long while. And P1, the race win, goes to the Octane 126 driver, Bjorn Grossman. He is the winner in the Trofeo Pirelli Pro race. Of course, we still have the AM podium to come, which will contain Jens Liebhauser, Chris Froggatt and Ettore Contini. Before we get to that, the winner of the 458s was Galipatar. And their super slow-mo of the champagne being sprayed, well, in a slightly opposite direction to the direction that Daniel D'Amato would normally be on the receiving end. In the Drivers' Championship, then, Philip Barron is P2 on 89 points, just 1 point ahead of Sam Smith in P3, but the leader on 130 is Daniele D'Amato. So, let's turn our attention to the AM podium. Ettore Contini, P3. Chris Froggatt, P2. Top step of the podium, Jens Liebhauser. The Formula Racing team represented on the podium. And once again, we hear the German national anthem. So atop the podium then, which is just to the left of our commentary position, is once again Stefan Claire, the CEO of the circuit here at Paul Ricard, making the trophy presentations. This AM podium, Chris Froggatt then. Bear in mind, Chris Froggatt's a rookie into this championship this year. Very, very little racing experience. Ettore Contini with his first podium. And right at the top is Jens Liebhauser. Formula Racing, of course, will receive a trophy. Indeed, they do. Here's Teo Meyer with the Pirelli trophy. Everyone will huddle together once again for the photographs. Chris Froggatt, who, as you can see, is just under 8 foot tall. towers above all of them.
And after this moment, the show is not over without the battle with champagne.
The show is not over, as Michele says, because the battle with the champagne is still to come. And Chris Froggatt is quickest. However, the fight between Ettore Contini and Jens Liebhauser was sort of all on their own, really, isn't it? There, the FF Corsa engineers looking on. And there is the paddock. Wow. What a race to end the weekend. And up next, we're off to Silverstone, 23rd and 24th of September. P3 then in the AMS went to Ettore Contini. P2 went to the British driver Chris Froggatt. P1 to Jens Liebhauser. And then there was an even bigger battle up there on the podium, has to be said. So some great shots there. In the Drivers' Championship, Jens Liebhauser on 125 points. Martin Nelson, who's had another really torrid weekend by his standards, is on 107 points. Just keep your eyes on Chris Froggatt on 95 points. In the AM battle, Joshua Katu is P5. Ahead of him is Tommaso Roca. Well, there was so much going on in this race. Let's take a look at the highlights now. As the lights went green, Daniel Diamato was chased by Bjorn Grossman. A bigger battle was going on behind, but Grossman was alongside Daniel Diamato, but Diamato with superior pace just managed to get his nose in front. Philip Barron and Bjorn Grossman would fight really hard for P2. In the end, Bjorn Grossman was able just to keep his nose in front, but unfortunately Bjorn Grossman would have a spin later in the race. In the meantime, Andrea Gagliardini and Sam Smith were trading paint and places, and in the end it was Sam Smith that got the better of that little battle, and Sam's partner could hardly bear to look on. Jens Liebhauser in the lead of the AM category. Philip Barron by this stage was with Andrea Gagliardini and was actually back marking because he'd been into the pit lane. Daniel Diamato with an ill-handling car allowed over the last couple of turns Bjorn Grossman just to get ahead and deny Daniel Diamato, making it 6 wins out of 6 because Bjorn Grossman was able to take the win to the delight of the Octane 126 team. Extraordinary race. Galipatar won the 458 class and was very proud of so doing. And there we have it then. The next race is between the 22nd and the 24th of September at Silverstone in the UK. Make sure you join us for that if you will. From all the team here, thank you so much for watching. Bye-bye for now.